another episode of the D Essence Show. I am your host, D Essence, and happy end of February. We got through February, guys. We're almost to March. This 2021 is just breezing on right by with a lot of snow. Black History Month made its appearance this month coming around, which is amazing because it leads me into three individuals I've invited onto the show to share their story, their services, their products, and it goes into entrepreneurship. So I'm very excited to have all three of them here. I have two already waiting on me. It also was the month of Red for heart disease and Valentine's Day. I hope everyone had a nice, sweet Valentine's. And also, just last week on February 17th was the Random Act of Kindness Day. And that is perfect because that actually leads me into my first guest, who is the founder of Safe Walks NYC, and he goes by the name of Peter Krier, and he is joining us the first time ever on the D Essence Show, and I would love to broadcast his service right now. He has an organization of volunteers in Brooklyn who are coming to meet a individual who may be scared to travel from the train and back home. So he has put this organization together for free to protect our community. How dope is that? So why not bring him on the D Essence Show? So I would love to introduce and welcome Peter Krier. He has taken over the news for like the last few weeks, and it's crazy. He even made it to Telemundo. That's how serious and how appreciative we are for his services in our community. So I would love to introduce the very handsome, the very kind Peter Krier. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome to the D Essence Show. How are we feeling this morning or this
I'm
afternoon?
good. I mean, it's cold, but we're surviving. We're doing what we have to do to just keep on keeping on. So,
Absolutely. So I've been seeing your face all over the place. How are we feeling with this new
um,
attention?
man, it's a bit overwhelming, but I mean, we faced the same thing when we did the Street Matters, the Street Matters Black Lives Matter protest last year, because again, it was a very unconventional method of protest, and ended up bringing out thousands of likes every week. So there was a lot of scrutiny then. So this is it's just like a continuation of it. It's in the same pipeline, but yes, it's overwhelming. I can say that for sure. Like that much attention, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, getting attention for something that is so servable in our community and just keeps us safe in the street because not so long ago we had an incident in Harlem in January, I would say, about a young female. We're family, went to the liquor store after work, like we all kind of do, go get a bottle of wine to relax for the weekend. And she was approached by a couple of gentlemen in the liquor store. They want to buy her wine, and she nicely turned
Right.
around and said, no, it's okay, I can do this myself. And they got into a little spat back and forth. They followed her out, they ganged up on her, they beat her up, they bit her above her eye. So right
Right.
now Harlem was not having it. They were all in front of the liquor store trying to protest, and here we are with your service now that is kind of mirroring the guardian angel. It kind of brings us back to those times that we feel safe in the street. um, you're a 7-year resident of Brooklyn, correct?
Right.
Where are you naturally? Not naturally, but where are you originally from? Are you from the US?
I'm from everywhere, like pretty much. So I mean, I was born here in the U.S. because my parents were college students here, natively from Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. But I've lived everywhere. Like, I mean, I was in um, Minneapolis, so I'm very familiar with the whole thing. But especially with the George Floyd situation, because I've had Minneapolis police's knees on my neck before. That's how crazy they are. But Minneapolis, then I moved here to New York City. I lived in Harlem actually for a while before moving down to lower mid Manhattan and then out to Bushwick. So, but
Okay. So
I travel a lot, as a DJ, promoter, producer. I'm on the road. So
so
yeah, a
talk
lot
to
of
me. Talk to me. How did Safe Walk NYC come about? Tell us your story.
yeah. So I live in the area, and I did notice that there was a lot of crime. I mean, there's always been a lot of crime around this area. It was not really reported, but what got my interest is just the attacks on the women, and I thought it was odd. So I actually had been posting on my personal Instagram saying, this feels a bit odd. Like all these attacks, it's just not, normal. So it was
Right.
already in the back of my mind. And then what just ticked everything off was one Sunday when one of the ladies who was attacked, people on her social media, and the pictures began going around that she'd been bruised, and beat up really bad, and was sore. And I was actually kind of pissed off, and so I just jumped on my bike and I went and posted up because I live right by the station. So I went and posted up and said, you know what? I'm gonna post up here. So in case I see anything or anyone who's acting funny, like I will, step in and do, what needs to be done. Because at that time, I think she was like the fifth or sixth, and there was nothing. There was no police presence. Nothing was being done. So I said, you know what? I'm not just gonna be angry about it. I'm gonna do something about it. So I got up. I went there. Most people call me crazy, to go there alone at night, but I was like, it is what it is. So I just went and posted up there. There was no action or anything, but the next day, um, another lady was attacked at a store which is right up the block from me, and again, the guy beat her up very bad, and he just walked off nonchalantly. And at that point, I said, you know what? I'm gonna have to amplify this situation. So instead of just posting it on my personal Instagram, I then posted it on our Street Riders NYC Instagram, which is a very large following because of the Black Lives Matter protest. And I
Right.
just told folks that, some this stuff is a bit crazy out here, but I am posting up. If there are any of you ladies who live around this area and feel unsafe, just send us a message, and we got you. Like we'll escort you to or from the subway station. So that's how it began. Then we quickly realized that it wasn't the best of ideas because Street Riders already gets tons of messages due to the movement stuff that we work with them. So I decided to create a whole separate entity that I could have put aside and have people focus on solely for this purpose. So that's how I came up with the name SafeWalks, and created an Instagram page, and then I began telling folks like, hey, look, follow this Instagram page, SafeWalks. If you want someone to SafeWalk you, just hit us up. And, send a DM to Instagram, and we got you. So people began sending requests, and I began doing them at first alone, and then people began sending messages, offering to help and saying, hey, I live around the area. How can I help? So I created then sort of like a Google form sheet where volunteers could sign up, and folks
Mhm.
began signing up, and we began onboarding people, and that's just how SafeWalks popped up.
And now I'm hearing you have about almost 200 members signed up to volunteer. That's
Yes,
awesome.
yeah, we have. Last time I checked, it was nearing 300 people who signed up to volunteer. It's been so what has slowed us down with onboarding people is one, the snowstorms, and two, we just trying to work on the process because how it works is this is a community-driven initiative. So SafeWalks is not an organization, or rather, my vision is not for it to be an organization that dispatches people out to protect neighbors. My vision is it for it to be communities stepping up to protect themselves. Meaning that if there are folks who live in Harlem and Harlem is going through some situation, then folks in Harlem would come together and form a safe walk of their own with members who live around the area and carry out the exercises and just the service of escorting people to and from subway stations or bus stops or anywhere that they may feel unsafe from or to. So that's the whole purpose behind it. And actually, with you mentioning the Harlem incident, one of the things that you'll hear it now for the first time because I'm about to announce it this weekend on our Instagram is we're launching two special safe work requests for volunteers in two areas. One being Harlem, 125th Street, because it's hard to cover the whole of Harlem. So we're starting with 125th Street. So we'll be reaching out to folks who live in the area saying if there's anyone on 125th Street who wants to help do safe works, reach out to us, special request. The other is for Chinatown in Lower Manhattan, and that's because of the increased attacks on elderly Asians due to of course, the COVID situation and the
Yeah.
false labeling and blaming and all the other stuff that Trump unfortunately left us with. So those
Right.
are things we'll
Right.
be picking up this weekend. So
I'm also hearing you're working on an app, you're working on defensive training for the community
yeah,
and also the volunteers, because I was thinking, okay, this is a great thing, but how do we know the person that is with us is safe? Number one, it's hard to trust individuals no matter what.
yeah.
Also, are we affiliated with the precincts in in that area just in case something does pop off? You
Yeah.
know, what was to happen if I'm with someone and something does happen? How is that all working out?
Yeah, so how it works out is that so we have at least a couple of people escort someone on the safe walk, but they're never alone. We have usually the whole group is on standby, and the person who does the safe walk reports back every few minutes. We have like little signals and phrases that we use to alert each other. Second thing is that everyone who's on a safe walk is a person who's a resident of the area. So it's not someone coming from outside to do this. And that's another reason why we've been taking it's been taking a while to onboard stuff because we've been trying to implement vetting as best as we can without straight up having to run a background check on someone. So some of the things we
Okay.
do are we verify that someone actually lives in the neighborhood. We verify, that the person has a social media presence, or something, or a LinkedIn if they're not, really on social media, and then we just vibe, we talk with them. So we don't just tell people sign up and now good to go, you're a volunteer. We do all that vetting, we meet them in person, we vibe with them, we have them post up with us for a bit. If they're to go on any safe walks, they'll be in the presence of other folks. So, we just get a feeling as much as we can before we trust people to go out individually on safe walks along with the folks we're protecting. Second,
Right.
we have no relation with the police. I don't know if anything comes to an extreme situation, of course, the right thing to do is call 911. What's been happening here is that in this Morgan area is that as I don't know if you saw the New York Times article that came out last week, many ladies who were giving testimony were saying that you're calling 911 and the cops weren't showing up for about 2 hours. So literally, we're setting up to try and protect ourselves as much as we can without having to rely or expect on the police coming because we feel like they have to bail us. And again, as a subset of the great body street riders and I see we are totally for defunding the police and regarding things to community policing and something like a safe is a version of community policing that we can engage in. And if you think about it, it's very effective in the sense that it's a deterrence by having a presence of bodies. Most times people are attacked late night, they're preyed upon for being alone. So just having a presence of bodies is a very good and big deterrent. It drastically lowers the chances of someone being attacked by by cowards. Cowards who have to wait until darkness to prey on someone.
I love the concept of this. It is very scary in the streets for us females, even males. Everybody's kind of out hanging around, not for any particular reason. So to have
Right.
like a community of a safety net feels really nice, and I really hope and pray that we can get this across the board into other boroughs. The Bronx would love to have something like that.
Yes.
Please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you to get to that.
Yeah.
Really quickly, what is the distance in your neighborhood that these walks happen? Like, what's the
So
distance?
right now we're covering the whole of Bushwick pretty much. So
Okay. Oh,
it's a pretty wide distance, and we're not only doing safe walks only necessarily around train stops. We've had some requests from folks who want to go from maybe a bus stop to a different location, or who want to go from one area to another, and we're doing that. Second thing I really want to emphasize so that people know is that safe works how safe works work is that it's not an organization that has to come and set up in your neighborhood. Safe works is you. Safe works is you, the people. Meaning that we really encourage you to step up and create safe walks within your own communities. Because even if we were to come out there and help establish, at the end of the day, the folks who will be doing the safe walks are people who are local residents and neighbors. So this is something
Beautiful.
anyone can do anywhere. I think many people don't really understand that, but we're emphasizing it as much as we can. That it's up to the folks to take charge, take control, and run with it. The same way we have, I'm sure you've seen the community fridges out there, right? The community
Yeah.
fridges and different also mutual aid groups. Like there's maybe like a Bronx Mutual Aid, a Brooklyn Mutual Aid. None of them belong to a single organization. They're all
Right.
community driven. That's exactly how I vision and would love safe walks to be, something that is driven by the local communities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love this so much. Let us know where we can sign up as a person who needs to volunteer versus an individual that wants to become a volunteer, and let them know where they can find you and your contact information.
Yes. So right now we're doing everything through our Instagram page, that is Safe Walks NYC. Until we're able to hopefully create an app, which we're still working on, and at that point, it will be one that folks can load on their platforms. But for now, we're going through our Instagram page, and in our bio, there should be a link. The link should be updated later today with various different forms that someone can fill up to sign up as a volunteer or to even request a safe walk.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining and trusting my platform. I will broadcast and speak about you and refer you to individuals. Also, thank you for taking care of the community, not only through the safe walks, but you guys also give out free tea and cups for warmth. You do hand sanitizers and all that, masks and all that good stuff for the community. So thank you so much for being kind. And I wish you the best of blessings with all you do. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on here and helping to amplify what we're doing.
Absolutely, Peter. And you have a great March.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Right there, Safe NYC, Safe Walks NYC. I saw them. I fell in love with them. I had to have him on the show. There was a little bit of back and forth because we're all busy, but we made it happen. So we'll be right back on the Diasa Show with our next guest. Stay tuned.
The symptoms range broadly. Some people have very mild or minimal symptoms, and other people have more severe disease. Here in New York at Montefiore, over the last few weeks, we treated a lot of patients with COVID-19. And our patients tell us that in the beginning, their symptoms are sometimes vague. So things like feeling very tired, having muscle aches. Some people report losing their sense of taste and smell, and others report a sore throat early on in their illness. As things progress, some people will get a fever or a cough. A lot of people feel short of breath, and some people actually get a stomach upset partway through their illness. For those people who are going to have a more severe course, that tends to happen around the 1 week mark. And so I do recommend that for those who think they have COVID-19 or know that they have COVID-19, to pay extra attention to your symptoms around that time. And if you have any concerns, then you should contact your healthcare provider to make sure that you don't need to go to a hospital.
Most people only pay attention to the final product of a successful entrepreneur. They say things like, "I can never be like them," or "they got lucky." What most don't see is what they've overcome. All the struggles, the daily rejections, the heartaches, the betrayals, the rumors, the criticism, the empty bank account, and all those lonely nights while trying to make their vision a reality. You see, the only difference between the one who quits and the one who doesn't is that they showed up every day. They worked hard every day. They hustled every day. They learned from a proven mentor every day. They improved every day. They did all this even though they felt like quitting every day. And eventually, they became who they are today.
And we are now back on the Diasen Show. You just saw Safe Walks NYC. And now we're on to the next guest, who is an entrepreneur from Connecticut. I recently saw him on Kelly Clarkson's show at 3:30 in the morning almost. And he called my attention because he was an entrepreneur who she was featuring. And he is the creator of a cereal that is getting everybody excited. Can't wait to see it in the store so I can buy it myself. It is a Black-owned cereal company. The founder is here with us today. The name of the cereal is Powerpuff Cereal. He has been all over the place. I mean, even Forbes have highlighted him, Yahoo News, Channel 4, many others in support of the cereal. So we're going to get down and dirty. Talk to him about how to get our own cereal out there. What does it take to make a cereal? What is the goal for this cereal? And what makes the cereal so special and different? I would like to introduce and welcome the CEO, the founder of Proud Puff Cereal, Nick King.
How we doing? How we doing?
Well, hello there. Like I said behind the scenes, I'm doing great now that you're here.
I appreciate that, Queen. I appreciate it. Thank you.
How are you, Mr. King?
I'm good. I'm good. I started my morning really early as usual. Late nights working. But got to get to work. Got to build out this brand.
Absolutely. Talk to me. I'm excited for you. I have to just say, your world must be a whirlwind right now, just because of all the attention you're receiving, all the news coverage. You're on shows. I mean, this is something new for you, or are we a star in Connecticut and we just didn't know about it?
No, this is completely new. I mean, I'd like to take the say that I was a star either way, but no, this is completely new to me. I am actually naturally an introvert, so I'm usually very quiet in my own space. So just being on camera or talking as much, taking pictures, all of that, completely new. I'm learning as I go.
Well, you're doing a magnificent job, I must say, because you are a natural. So whatever doubts or, put it out the door, just keep owning and speaking of what we're doing now. I want to start this. So what is it about this cereal that is so spectacular? Can you let our viewers know?
Yeah. So, I launched Proud Puffs December of 2020. As said, it's one of the first Black-owned cereal companies in the U.S., which is a great accomplishment for us. I'm excited to be in that space, and I hope there's still more following. But one of the best parts about this cereal, outside of especially in the climate of the world that we're in today, outside of just Black ownership, it's a delicious chocolate cereal. It's vegan, it's plant-based, it's healthy. We've been able to combat the high contents of sugar with natural sweeteners. So, we're making sure we put the right, nutritional value back in the community. And I think that's also what's helping, with the big whirlwind of press and buzz that I've received lately.
Absolutely. So this took kind of place in the quarantine. We're kind of researching the net, looking for Black-owned cereals. And what happened? What did you find?
I guess the easiest thing is I found nothing. I went a couple pages. You know how Google works. I'm clicking through some pages. I even went to Instagram. I hashtag Black-owned cereal company, and to my surprise, I found nothing. And for me, just being a creative, naturally being in the fashion, being in the arts, the way our mind works, I was like, wow, this is definitely an opportunity, for me to make a really big impact.
So, what is it? Well, what is it to make? I don't even know what to ask you first, because I find this very interesting. Can you share the concept or like your visual that you had that made you want to really put this out here for us?
Definitely. I mean, I have the box.
Anything that you actually personally went through besides the whole protesting Black Lives Matter?
Sure. Showcase the box for those who haven't seen the box yet. I think the biggest thing for me was after realizing that we had no representation in that space. I was like, wow, this is a $30+ billion industry, and there are no minority owners in this space. So that started raising red flags to me, trying to figure out like why. So that was definitely one of the things that expedited me to be in that space. You know, just looking at what happened after George Floyd, what happened after Breonna Taylor, there were a lot of companies that, you know, had a lot of talking points about what they're going to do to amplify Black voices and their initiatives. And for me, I've always been about enacting the change and actually being the one to make the change versus actually waiting for it. And I think that was the biggest part.
Absolutely. How long? So before doing research about Black-owned cereal, you've never thought about this concept ever before?
Ever.
Wow. Never. You see, quarantine has a thing silver linings, let me tell you.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. You know, I left my corporate job after, you know, 12 years mid pandemic. You know, just like most people were like, whoa, this is too much. You know, we really want to focus on family. And, you know, I jumped out and was like, you know, I'm gonna be a dad. I'm just gonna be a dad full time, you know, for a year and a half. And, you know, some of them said, you know, since I wasn't moving so much and I just had time to just kind of relax, you know, I like to say it's divine inspiration because this idea pretty much came to me out of nowhere.
Absolutely. That's God sent to me. So
Agreed.
Speak to us about the visuals now that you do have the box here with us.
Yes.
Oh, I want to like pre-order one. Speak to us about the visuals. Like explain what's on the box, because that's what makes it very special in my opinion.
Well, I'll break it down real quick. It's the most important part, so I'll cut my face out. So, I mean, the box, again, going into representation, you know, I said, you know what, outside of, and it actually recently just changed now, outside of like Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben, technically, at least at that time, those were like the only real representation that we had, and we didn't own that. You know, so when we created the product, you know, my company is called Legacy Cereal Company. So I wanted to showcase the why am I doing it for my legacy? So this is actually my family on the front. So that's my son, my sisters, my nieces, and my nephew. So that's just, you know, overall positive representation. On the side, it lists, there you go, in camera, Black excellence. It lists 20 influential Black figures to help push the culture forward as, you know, positive material for the kids. It's one of those, like, you don't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. So you know, that's the biggest parts. And on the back, which is my favorite part, is an affirmation word search. So it says, let's play a game. It says, say I am in the word that you find. So kids can say, I am unstoppable, I am powerful, I am smart, I am loved, and I am enough. And just like anybody else, I think it's important for us to, you know, start speaking positively about ourselves, the law of attraction, especially our kids before they leave the house and have to meet the unfortunate, cruel world that, you know, is ready to tell them different, unfortunately.
Absolutely. So we have a few more minutes left, but I want to know what goes into making cereal. Were you there while I picture like a factory with workers just continuously working.
It's definitely a process. It's maybe a little easier than some people think. But it's definitely a process. You know, you want to take care of the legal side of it first and foremost. For me, being a cereal addict my whole life, you know, I'm very meticulous in, you know, the taste. You know, so we worked with our food scientists and multiple food scientists multiple times to get, you know, even to get down to the fact of like how long, you know, before the cereal actually gets soggy in the almond milk.
Right.
You know, or down to like, does it turn the milk chocolate? You know, like, so just even like little things like that has been like a big concern. So it is a lot of work. We did start off in a small kitchen. And currently we're raising funds so we can scale out the business. We have a big demand and we need to be able to fulfill that. So the big factories are definitely coming soon.
Definitely. And I assume that all the publication and the interviews you're doing will help with that, because a lot of people are interested in this, or just the story and then the face behind it just makes you a little more interested. Like, oh, who's this? You know? So I look forward to it. I would love to taste it. We'll talk behind the scenes and see how I can get a box.
Awesome.
Have you had any potential buyers lately, or?
So we've had a lot of conversations. We've had a lot of conversations with investors. And just the reason why I didn't go that route yet, we haven't found the right one. You know, when we're dealing with business, we have to make sure the terms make sense. I'm very protective over the design of the box. Everything was done with intent, obviously having my family on there, to the natural hairstyles, there as well, just to kind of address certain things that, you know, people of color have to go through, especially in the workplace. So I'm very meticulous in that space. So, you know, we've definitely had investor conversations. We've had some conversations with big box retail really early on. Mind you, I only launched the company in December, you know, so, and we're closing about the end of February now. So, you know, we're definitely in a great space. If you know Nipsey Hussle, I'm a big fan, and we'll talk about it. So this is a marathon, so I'm just ready to put the work in.
I was just gonna say that you've run that marathon. You have for entrepreneurs out there, what makes an investor the right fit? Because you said you have been communicating with a few and they're not the right fit. So what's going on that you can kind of share with that?
I'd say that
trying to change your visuals? Are they trying to change what it really stands for? Like,
yeah, definitely a little bit of both, you know. But I think the biggest thing that you want to look for when, you know, having conversations with investors or even, you know, maybe founders or advisors is you want to find somebody who believes in your product and already believes in your vision and trusts, you know, your creativity. Granted, you know, on a different scale, they can definitely help navigate you in business world, getting you the funds and pointing you in the right direction. But find someone that believes in you just as well as, you know, you were intrigued enough to have me on the show. It's almost the same thing, the belief in the product, belief in the founder, and, you know, wanting to be a part of it and organically has been a super big thing for me.
would the goal just be for Black-owned stores to have this product, or do you not really care?
I mean,
And
you know,
don't mind it anyway.
at the end of the day, it is just delicious chocolate cereal. So my target consumer is those who enjoy cereal. You know, I always do circle back that, you know, I did design my box to uplift the Black and brown community to show that representation matters. That is actually my mission statement. My mission statement is to be the brand where nutrition and representation matters, which is two things that, you know, I focus on. So, but to answer your question, no, you know, we plan to scale out and be in every store. You know, all cultures should be able to eat, you know, delicious chocolate cereal and have Proud Puffs, you know, on their kitchen table.
Absolutely. I love cereal. And I remember being a child looking at the box and doing the puzzles and reading and coloring. I miss that. And we do need that for the children. We need as much empowerment as we can. And like I said, if you're good looking and you're young, you're even more relatable. You know what I mean? So you definitely have that going on, which is use it in your advantage, buddy. Yeah. Besides the cereal, now that this has opened up a door for you,
yes.
Do you plan to do any more products? Are you interested in any type of publications? What are you thinking? What's your goal?
We got a lot, you know, we got a lot to roll out, you know, for 2021. Again, you know, we're less than 3 months new as a company. So, you know, I have 3 more products after Proud Puffs, you know, that I plan on releasing, working with our food scientists closely, different flavors, different box concepts, really brand out the company. As you see, I have apparel already in the works. We're working on coloring books, but most importantly, we have an initiative called Operation Love, where we go to communities and address food deserts. So we got a lot going. You know, I'm excited, you know, to be where I'm at. I'm excited to get as much press as I've been getting, because it's basically amplifying the story, you know, similar to what Peter said. You know, and they're doing an amazing job there as well. So, you know, hats off to him and you know, that whole movement as well. So this is just really to amplify the story, get the product into consumers' hands, and then really start to work towards philanthropy work.
I want to give you a lot of my respect. I want to congratulate you on this product. Entrepreneurship is not an easy thing to do, especially being minority, including myself. It's just not the easiest. Just to get news coverage is very hard to do. And the fact that you're in publications being featured as a young Black man is just very powerful. So I give all my respect and blessings to you. Please come back to the D. Ustin Show when you have your products out. We're family now. We're industry family.
Yes.
And is there anything you would like to say? We have 1 minute left. I would like you to give out your information to our viewers. And if you have anything else you want to say before we end it, Feel free.
Sure, of course. You can go to proudpuffcereal.com. That has the links to everything, all publications, all information. Feel free to reach out. We're working closely with getting our cereal in schools once we're able to scale out. So we have some cool little boxes that we're actually working on. So, definitely feel free to reach out. All links are there. Proud Puff Cereal on all social media as well. Or feel free to shoot me an email, which is linked somewhere right here. So I thank you for having me on your show. And next time I come back, you're going to have a box of cereal. We're going to be eating Proud Puffs live on the show, and it'll be great.
Perfect. Yes. I can't wait to connect Connecticut to the VX.
There it is. 20 minutes away.
That's it. That's all it is. You're not far from me. I'm literally right on the highway too. Okay.
Exactly.
But thank you so much, Nick King. It was a pleasure meeting you and having you on our platform. And many blessings, as I mentioned before. And have a great March.
You too as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, and there you have it, Mr. Nick King. And how about the cereal? Certain guests just bring that out of the essence. But we'll be right back after our PSA, the The Essence Show. Get in line.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Do you remember our first group photo? This is it. Smiles all around, even though we were all nervous.
Who could have imagined that our first weekend together would soon turn into a lifetime of memories?
You're an amazing young man. Your brothers and sisters really look up to you. They're a big brother.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our...
That's right. Take out the time. You heard? We are here on the DLC Show. On to our last guest. But we gotta end it with some female empowerment. I can give the attention to the fellas, but I gotta end it with the female entrepreneur. This one right here is a visionary. She's a founder of Professionally Inspired LLC. She's a motivational speaker. She is an award LLC winning social entrepreneur. I mean, that tells you right there. She's been featured in numerous publications, podcasts, and much more. And in 2019, she was recognized as Making the Impossible Possible, Inc., where the Brooklyn Bronx Borough President, I'm so used to the Bronx, Brooklyn Borough President, and various Congress as Outstanding Citizen Hall of Fame. But the most recent achievement is being the creator of Curriculum Kits, which is to bridge kids and parents to the education system to understated or underserved families, especially during the COVID. And we also motivate youth and parents by tackling topics of self-help, self-love, leadership skills, virtual learning tips, and so much more. I had to bring her on the show. I've been knowing her quite some time through virtual. We've been networking, connecting. I've been always trying to have her on the show, and here we finally are. So I would love to introduce and finally welcome on a very last minute, Latavia Brown to the The Essence Show.
Hi, how are you? I made it. Thank you. I made it on the show.
Yes, I want to welcome you, but I also want to thank you for being on the The Essence Show at a very short notice. Right. And you come in my heart. You have completed the show, and I'm very proud of this show. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you for even asking me. This is a great opportunity.
Absolutely. You're very powerful, and I needed to add you into this. We just had the founder of Safe Walks New York City that walks individuals home for safety in Brooklyn and Harlem now. And then I had product of cereal for empowerment for our Black youth. and individuals, and now you. So this is a great show for Black History Month to end it off, right?
Yeah.
And I want to commend you also on being an entrepreneur and everything you do. I mean, you're a creator, you write books, you're all over the place. You're very powerful. But what stood out the most to me was this new thing, this recent thing that you created was called Curriculum Kits. Can you please break that all down for us?
So I am an entrepreneur. I'm the founder of Professionally Inspired LLC, and it's more of an educational consultant. So I partner with different schools, I partner with different youth organizations, and I bring my curriculum to the schools. So the idea came to me being that it's COVID and a lot of the schools were shut down because of COVID and they're doing a hybrid model. Why not create curriculums for the homes based on social emotional learning? So what is social emotional learning? Is more so mindset, mental health, self-care for elementary, middle school, and high school students. So I came up with this idea of doing a curriculum kit to bring social emotional learning into the home, along with different various DIY, do-it-yourself projects, tangible things, because I know the kids are kind of tired of virtual learning. And being that I'm a part-time educator, it was good to bring that into the homes.
What ages are we speaking of?
So I have elementary school age, middle school age, and now we have high school age.
Nice. And I have to, through my research, congratulate you, because I read somewhere that Guyana in Africa is receiving packages or shipments of your kids.
Yes,
How
in
does that
Ghana.
feel?
Yes. It feels amazing. I actually partner with another teacher, another educator. She's doing work in Ghana, and we connected through Instagram. And I just told her, I would love to, partner with you to bring some like this to the school that you do service with in Ghana. She agreed, and I actually got about 10 people to sponsor the kids, and now the kids are going to Ghana. And it feels amazing. It's not just about me, it's about creating an impact and bringing social emotional learning internationally. So I'm just excited to see the impact that is going to bring not only to the kids, but to the teachers in Ghana.
Oh, that would have made my heart so fulfilled. My goal would have been done. Even though in our state, we have families, but for Africa to receive your kids like that,
I know. Yes.
Like your mission is done.
Well, this is just the beginning. I'm a woman of God, so I know God has greater things for this mission because it was a vision from God. It wasn't just for me. So it was a great feeling to know that it's going to be in Ghana, but this all started off with a partnership. And I always encourage entrepreneurs. It's good to partner with other entrepreneurs who may be doing the same thing as you, and it can bring a greater impact. So this Ghana affiliation came through a partnership, and look at the bigger impact. So I'm just excited of what's going to come, and greater things is going to come out of this curriculum kit.
Absolutely. And they say that a village makes a dream work. And a lot of individuals in this business, even entrepreneurship, say, I don't need anybody. I got to do this myself. No, there's tons of people you can utilize and combine with and make a dream work like yours. That's so inspiring. Thank you for that.
Right. Yeah, because at the end. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. So at the end of the day, that's the slogan of my business. We are stronger together. You can't do it all by yourself. You need, even if you don't have a partner within your business, try to partner with other people that may have similar missions, especially when you're dealing with the youth like I do and families. There's a lot of people that's doing that. So why not partner together? Because you're stronger together.
Absolutely. Can you give us a little brief insight into what it was to put the curriculum together?
So I just wrote down a vision. I just wrote down a vision that God gave me. Like I said, I'm a part-time educator outside of my business, so I teach virtually and I teach high school students. So again, because I teach high school students virtually, I kind of know what the need is, and I believe as an entrepreneur, you need to know what the need is in order to be of service. So what is the need that's out there? And the need was the need for tangible activities. The kids were getting drained with virtual. They're like, I miss doing the do-it-yourself projects. I miss, my mental health. A lot of the high school kids, they always talk to me. They want to learn more about mental health, self-care, being more healthy. So I wrote down all of this and I created a whole curriculum. And this is the curriculum here. Be bold, be beautiful, be you. So in this, you will receive a whole curriculum. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah, we can.
So this is the curriculum. So it's a real curriculum because I am a part-time teacher. I know how to develop curriculum. So I give it to parents, and parents are able to help their kids and guide their kids on social emotional learning, social responsibility, goal setting, journaling, meditation sessions. So this all comes into the curriculum. So that's what came out with this whole thing of curriculum, because it's all about mindset and mental health within the youth.
So being that you are a part-time educator, is there any way we can change these curriculums in our school system? Because I am such an advocate for that. I will work with someone. I don't know what and how I would do it, but I really believe in everything you were saying that should be the curriculum in a normal day of class. Of course, with your math and your English, but I'm just finding out too a couple of months back, that penmanship is non-existent. Writing, composition is non-existent. So it's like now you're taking our cursive away, the way we write. It's bad enough we're all texting, abbreviation. Now we're doing emojis. Even in a conversation, we're doing emojis. Is there anything that we can do to change this?
Well, I believe as educators, first of all, there's a lot of education consultants out there. And I always encourage them, create a curriculum, sell a curriculum. It's good to have a book, but also it's better to have a curriculum. You can have a book on top of your curriculum, right? So the thing is that you can teach yourself how to do a curriculum, develop that curriculum. I teach consultants and also teachers how to develop learning skilled curriculum, life skill curriculum, because you can still learn from life skills and mindset and mental health. Also, now that we're in virtual learning with teachers who may not have that social emotional learning background, it's easy just to do one basic thing in your class, a check-in, one meditation session on YouTube. It's very easy. That's how I start off my class. We do a meditation session. We do a group, which means that we do a couple of exercises, and then we go into the lesson. And I think that with virtual learning nowadays, teachers are so eager to instruct, but they need to learn how to engage. Those are totally different things. So add social and emotional learning into your curriculum will make it so easier. And I think you can do that as a teacher without actually being a whole curriculum if you don't want to do that. Right. I hope that makes sense.
How have the kids been welcoming that in? Like you said, they're becoming more interested in mental health. Is that because maybe they're seeing it more on TV and celebrities are expressing? How are you seeing the change? Because like we all know, teens are very kind of hard to change, but they're like kids. Once you welcome them into somewhere that they feel comfortable, it's like, oh, mental health, that must be a cool thing. Meanwhile, no, it's essential, but they're not having it in a school. And I like the way that you're kind of bringing in the mental health, relaxation, bring the anxiety down from wherever they're getting it from, and then also putting the curriculum into play, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah. Right. How are you experiencing a lot of anxiety with the kids?
Yes. So
from before?
Yeah, especially with the age group. Because again, like I said, I deal with high school kids as a part-time educator. So I create a safe space within an environment of virtual learning, which means that I allow them to have a voice. So certain things that they share within that space, I can see it can lead to certain things. So we dive into those things, like as far as how to deal with it, journaling, meditations, things of that nature. So people, and I also believe as adults, we have to stop downplaying youth because of their age. Yeah. This is a whole new generation. This is a whole new trauma. There's a lot of protesting that I know a lot of kids been out there protesting. There's a lot of things going on in their homes that they don't share. Remember, they're home now. They don't have socialism with their friends, because that's how you grow up as a teenager. You have socialism. If the schools are closed, where are they getting their socialism out other than online or on social media or FaceTime, right? So these are the things that we have to address within the classroom, so that now they're more eager to say, you know what, let me take care of me. So it's time for my kids to learn this thing, and now they're so comfortable with it. They're like, you know what, Miss, I'm saving money now. I eat more healthy now, and these are things that need to be taught in the classroom outside of academic. Academic is great, but I think it comes better with social together.
Absolutely. We got 5 minutes left. My producers are telling me. Is there anything you want to share more light on with the education system, the kids? Because I'm going to go into self-care now, but before I end doing that, is there anything else you want to express? Because this is very important as well. I need to have you back so we can have a whole show just on you.
Right. Well, I just want to encourage people that, especially educators, I know it's not easy doing virtual learning. I've been there, I know, but it's, create a safe space for you and your kids, because once you are online, everyone is personal. So why not get personal? And once you get personal, not only will your kids experience healing mentally, you will too as well. But you got to create that safe space.
Any tips for anxiety for teens to do? You have any tips?
Journaling is the best. Yes, my kids, they journal on their own outside of classroom, and allow them to express themselves. Allow them to express themselves. Allow them to have a voice, even if they need to vent for a minute and cuss and all that stuff in the classroom. Let them do it. I let them do it. And I let them have a moment, and I let them write it down and let them express themselves. That will alleviate anxiety in youth, because now they feel a safe space and now they feel free to be themselves.
Right. And it's very important to create a safe space, because I'm sure there's a lot that live at home that don't feel safe. And that's so sad that you don't feel safe at home, but you can feel safe in school, which was a huge deal and concern when we first hit this COVID. What do you do for self-care, Miss? Because we follow each other, and I see we do fitness, we write, we read. What are we doing for self-care?
So during this COVID season, I've been creating my own routine for self-care. So I wake up extra early in the morning before I do my virtual learning, before I go into my business emails and all that stuff. I make sure I have time for myself. So I wake up in the morning. First and foremost, I'm grateful to God. I have prayer. I do meditation, maybe like a 5 minute, 3 to 5 minute meditation session. And I also exercise. I Google YouTube videos of coaches who got exercises, and I do a 30-minute exercise session by myself in my room, with my sweats, and I make sure I have breakfast, and that's my normal routine. And I make sure I'm consistent with it, even if I don't feel like it. I'm like, you know what, no, Latavia, because I'm important. I'm important. So, and my body is my temple, and I have to take care of it. So I think that, especially as entrepreneurs, we're so eager to be successful, but we miss ourselves. And I believe that during this time, we need to take care of ourselves and learn more of ourselves and get healing within. And I think Lauryn Hill said it best. How you going to win if you ain't right within? You got to get yourself together. Yeah, you have to get yourself together in order to create an impact. How you going to create an impact if you got all this stuff going on with yourself? And sometimes with COVID, yes, everybody thinks it's a bad thing, but sometimes a bad thing is working together for your good. So you can get you to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I want to say, drop the mic right on that and say, get in line, because y'all really need to follow that protocol, because I've done the same thing. I've created a journey for me, fitness, and just taking care of things that I have not paid attention to, because I'm trying to do the D-Essence brand, the Get in Line brand, and the show. So this COVID, I said, I need a time out. And I felt a void. I had doubts. I had me talking bad in myself, in my mind. but I feel amazing, and now I'm ready to come back, and here I am. So I totally agree with you with finding your own journey and routine for self-care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do that. You know, success starts within yourself. It doesn't start with just money. It doesn't start with how many followers you got on Instagram. It starts within yourself, and everything else will work in for it is good. Everything else will go into place. But you got to get yourself together spiritually, mentally, and physically. You got to get yourself together, because if you're not together, you cannot win. You cannot win. Love yourself enough. You know what? I take care of me.
Absolutely. Can you please give us the viewers your contact where they can find you, and we don't need to say any prices, but just the link of where you can find the curriculum.
All right, you could go to business website professionallyinspired.com, where you can find the curriculum. If you want to sponsor a kit for a child as well, you can go to my website professionallyinspired.com. And we're always looking for sponsors. We partner with a lot of shelters. We partner with a lot of youth organizations who may not can afford the kits. So if you want to sponsor a kit for a child, go to professionallyinspired.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, my love. Again, thank you for being on this platform, short notice. I love our conversation. I would definitely have you back on the Dee Ustin Show, and we will talk more about what you do and all the things you want to like express to our communities, okay?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much again for having me.
Absolutely. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.
I'm New York City Health Commissioner Oxiris Barbeau. As the city's doctor, I have an urgent plea on behalf of all New Yorkers. Stay home. When you go out, you risk contracting or spreading coronavirus to others. You put others at risk of serious illness and even death. When you do have to go out for essentials like groceries or medicine, try to keep at least 6 feet between yourself and others. By staying home, you save lives.
UNICEF Kid Power is offering free online dance and exercise videos with a twist. Kids stuck at home can get active and save lives locally and around the world. Sign up for free at unicefkidpower.org.
Put the keys down, Kevin. But I'm gonna drive home. There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text to emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little?
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
That's right. You call that ride home. Never drink and drive, guys, especially during holiday seasons. Black History Month, thank you so much for giving these individuals the courage, the drive to kill it with their own entrepreneurship, their products and businesses to enhance and empower our community as a whole. I just love it. It warms my heart. It's sad because we've been doing this, and now we're being finally recognized the correct way. So let's keep killing it. And if not, you better get in line. Happy February. And let's see what March brings us. Right on the Dee Ustin Show.